What's going on, Buffalo Bills fans? What is up? It is a good day. I feel good. I know I might not look like it because I'm not as excited as I normally am. I've been chilling today. I've been trying to not overreact. I've been trying not to get too amped. But listen, the Buffalo Bills are 13-3 to end the season out. We swept the AFC East. What? When's the last time that has happened? Oh, I'm sorry, never. We swept the AFC East. We're the second seed in the AFC. It's going down. It is going down. It's about to be a good time in the playoffs, man. I'm so excited. Next week, my bestie and I, my man Joe Miller, and I will be at the playoff game. It looks like we're probably going to be facing Miami again. I do see that there's a possibility about Indiana as well. The Colts, man, the Colts always seem to mess some stuff up, man. They always seem to mess some stuff up. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I have a pretty good show for you today. My man Muki Hawkins is going to be joining me again as usual. He's he always has a show on WUFO, and then he ends up joining me over here on the Chop Up. I actually also have my man Anthony Romeo joining me from Cover-1. He had to run to the store for his wife, so he'll be jumping on soon. But listen, man, Muhammad said Houston take lead. We might host Titans. Yeah, I would. You know what? I would be absolutely okay with hosting the Tennessee Titans. I know that we lost to them earlier in the year, but listen, it wasn't anything that made me. First of all, we all knew that nobody wanted to be at that game. Nobody wanted to play the game. Josh Allen still kind of showed up. He had a good game. The players around him, the rest of the team, they didn't want to be there. And can you blame them with everything that happened in Tennessee with COVID and just all of that stuff, man? It got real bad. It got real ugly. So I see my man Brian in here. What's up, B? My man Clayton. We already talked to Muhammad. There's 235 people in here. First, I want to say thank you so much for joining the Chop Up today, being brought to you by Buffalo Rumblings. If you're watching on YouTube, do me a favor and hit that like for me. That will help us be seen by other people who are looking for Buffalo Bills content. So listen, let's get right into it, man. I saw some good things. Obviously, we won. You know, it was a blowout like it's been the last couple of weeks, but I saw some good things, but I also saw a couple things that I feel are concerning heading into the playoffs. So, if you guys want to talk to me, throw me some comments in the chat here. My man, Big Tim, what up, Big Tim? He said, man, bring on anyone. I am with you, Tim. Let's bring on anyone. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's the Titans. I don't care if it's the Colts. Whoever you want to bring here. Like I said, everybody is like, well, you don't want to play Miami back to back. For what? Why not? We barely played, we didn't play all of our guys anyway. And we did this with Trey out. We did this with Josh Allen playing the first half only. And this is what the game looked like. I'm not worried about them. So bring them back. I'm excited because the thing is, I didn't feel like, I just didn't believe it would be this good. In the offseason, I know, if you follow the Code of Conduct podcast, or if you follow Joe Miller at all and the Overreaction podcast, we did a show earlier, I believe it was in May or June, where we did like a game by game breakdown and prediction. And for starters, I want to say Joe was completely right. He predicted 13-3. He was pretty much spot on with most of the predictions to the games, the win losses. I had 12-4. So even though I was a game, lower, or the record was a little bit less, I felt like we were going to be pretty good. I not like in none of my wildest dreams that I ever think we would be this good. Like I've never ever imagined the Buffalo Bills in 2 weeks in a row putting up more than 40 points. Like we just dropped a 50 burger on. Like, can you believe this stuff? It's going on. My man Muhammad said our starters, and then he corrected himself. He meant the bench players. The bench players beat the Dolphins, and that's exactly right. Tua Tagovailoa is a good quarterback. Don't get me wrong. I know there's a lot of Bills fans. I saw Bills fans today on the timeline talking about how bad he is and how he's not going to improve and that he has no space to improve. Let's pump our brakes on that. I understand that Tua is on Miami and we don't like Miami, but let's not forget how Josh Allen looked his rookie year. Now he had moments where he flashed. It's the same thing with Tua. Tua came out of a better program, so yeah, we felt like he would be further along in his development. But coming out of Alabama, he had that injury and he had some time off there. So honestly, who's to say that he was supposed to come in the league and be that dynamic that quickly? It's not something that was guaranteed. It's not something that's necessarily promised. And just because you see guys like Justin Herbert come into the league and blow the league up, or even years of past, Baker Mayfield's rookie season. He looked like he was going to be very good in this league. Now I'm not so sure. I know they're playing good the recent weeks. I didn't get a chance to see. I know they won today, but I didn't get a chance to see exactly how the game unfolded and how it played out. But I'll go back and review that as well. But we have to stop putting so much pressure on young quarterbacks to come into the league and to be Peyton Manning in his MVP season from the very beginning. So with Tua, I'm happy he's not that right now because it allowed the Bills to do what we did. But if you're playing a quarterback the same level as Josh Allen, I guarantee you, even if they're putting up points with us, we're not going to do what we did today because the score will be, it'll be competitive. Let's pump the brakes on saying that Miami needs to draft another quarterback. Tua is still going to be pretty good for them. So let's just pump the brakes there. I do have my first guest joining me now. My man Anthony from Cover-1 is joining me. I got him on. I asked him to come on purposely because he was really trying to get me. And last couple of weeks, I had some moments where I let people really get me out of my character, and I was talking good stuff. He almost got me today. So I'm bringing my man in. Anthony, what's going on with you, man? How's it going?
Hey, yo, what's up, Spence? I wasn't trying to get you, just trying to have a conversation. We started it last week when you were on Tuesday when you were on our show.
And you was wrong then. You was wrong then, man.
Oh, come on, man.
Well, so for everybody that's still in and everybody that's listening, basically the conversation was we were talking about the run game and we were talking about just exactly how much we needed it or what we don't need. One of the things that I feel, and I still feel this after today, is I don't believe that we have the type of running game that we'll need in order to really make a run in the play. And by running the playoffs, I don't mean winning the first two games. I'm saying I need us to beat Kansas City. If you want to beat Kansas City, the thing that we have to do is the same thing that the New York Giants did against us in the Super Bowl, and we have to keep the ball away from their quarterback. They want to do the same thing to us. They want to keep the ball away from Josh Allen. So I'm like, we need to be able to run the ball without having Josh Allen.
As good as who? We need to run the ball as good or better than Kansas City right now? I think we can do that with the guys we got. That's all I'm saying.
I don't want to be as good as Kansas City. I want to be better.
The way you just set it up. Yeah. You need to be better than Kansas City.
We need to be better.
Our run game is better than Kansas City?
No, I don't. And I don't think Kansas City can keep away from us. I don't think they have the ability to run the ball against us, that even though I know it looked like that the first game that we played them because they destroyed us. Well, they didn't they destroyed us. The game was not as close as it looked.
Yeah, and we know
I'll get beat up in the comments. Yeah.
There was a lot I'll get beat up in the comments about that. It was not like our best versus their best for sure.
But here's my thing, and I get your point, and so when I'm debating you on it, please don't think that I'm just like, no. You're done.
First of all, the thing is, we love each other, and we wouldn't call each other out. It's not like I was trying to catch you in something or whatever. It's a great conversation to be had. Now, I think that my point is right and yours is crazy, but that's how these things go, and that's why we're talking about it. Because, look at the run game. The run game will you agree that the run game has not had to win us a game? The New England game, the first New England game, they did win it for us because New England basically said we're going to put 20 defensive backs on the field and let you run all day if you want, right? So
you can't say they won. They let us run. No, they let us run.
Right.
You need to be able to run the ball when they know you're going to do it and they're stopping you.
But the problem is we're a pass-first team. There's been no game where it's like, oh, we couldn't run the ball, so we lost.
Nobody's arguing that. Nobody is arguing that.
And now going into the playoffs, it's going to be the same thing. No, if we need to run the ball, we're going to run the ball.
Now you're helping me prove my point. But Anthony, you're helping me prove my point because here's the thing: in the playoffs, you're playing against the good teams. You're not only playing against and granted, this year we played a ton of good teams. Like the competition this year for the Bills, we had one of the most difficult schedules for the season. So I'm not questioning. Absolutely. So I'm not questioning whether or not the Bills are good enough to do it. What I'm saying is going into the playoffs, you have better coaches, obviously, and better players because the teams are in the playoffs. And what ends up happening is if they take away your strength. So if the Bills' strength is passing, I get it. We have dynamic players everywhere. So it's pretty tough to take away everybody. I get that. But let's just hypothetically say there is a team out there who can stop the pass game. Okay. How are we going to win if Josh Allen doesn't run for 115 yards?
The New England game. We did. We gave it to the running backs. They won the game. What do you mean? The first New England game, obviously. That's what happened. They took away the pass as best they could. And we said, okay, if you're just going to let us run, we're going to run. And that's exactly what I think we will do in the playoffs. Okay, you really do. I mean, I don't know. AFC is a weird place right now because there's not really a dominant defense in terms of the backfield versus like what we've already seen this year, right? In the stretch that we just went through with teams like the Steelers and the Broncos and the, team after team that we played down the stretch. Now going into the playoffs, I mean, if the first matchup is Indy, is their defensive backfield as good as, some of these teams we've already beaten?
But you're talking about the first. I've already, and I know I shouldn't look.
So then Kansas City, look at Kansas City's defense. You think their defense is going to stop our pass game? Even if they find a way to do that, then we would run all over them.
I'm not saying that their defense is going to stop our pass game, but will our defense stop their pass game?
Yes, ours is better.
Come on, dog.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
So you're betting the house on stopping Patrick Mahomes. Like you just feel confident that our defense can just stop.
I think that our defense can stop them enough for our offense to do what it needs to do to win, especially against that defense, because our offense is on par with Kansas City at this point.
It is, and we'll come.
And our defense is 10 times better than Kansas City's.
We're gonna come back to that because that's a good debate. But I don't want to miss the running back. I don't want to end that real quick.
So that's all I'm saying is the run. If teams give us the run in the playoffs, then we're gonna run it. Josh Allen doesn't care anymore. It's not about season. It's about winning the game. He'll hand it off 30 times a game if that's what it takes for us to win. But I mean, we don't see that happening. I don't think anybody in the world is predicting that to happen. But if we needed to do that, we could. If that's what's given to us, we will do that. But it's not going to happen. Our pass game is still going to be dominant. What this team has done all year: pass first, establish the run when you need to, run every once in a while to keep them honest. Keep passing, keep passing, keep passing, keep passing. And it's just worked that way. I mean, you can't.
What, man? On a typical day, on a typical game against a typical opponent,
yes,
I would agree with you on that. When you're talking about an offense that is as dynamic as ours is in the Kansas City Chiefs, we have the two best offenses in the league.
Agree.
So when you look at those two offenses, you can't just look at it like, well, if in the playoffs we got to run, we'll run. No, the thing is, you actually have to stop the other guys. And Clayton,
but that's defense. You don't trust our defense
against Patrick Mahomes? No. Do you?
Yes.
Anthony.
I mean, not to stop them. I'm not saying we're going to shut out Patrick Mahomes. No, but I definitely trust them to give up. 24 points, and we can score more than that against that defense. Again, their defense.
We're giving up more than 24 points against the Chiefs in the playoffs.
I don't think
just
so.
Telling you right now.
I would take that bet any day right now.
Anthony,
look at how good our defense has been playing the last few games. We haven't given up 24 points since our last loss.
We haven't played anybody with an offense like the Chiefs. What's the last offense we've played that's been like, oh man, we really got to figure out a way to stop this guy?
It's still not going to. And again, what they do best is what we do best: pass defense. If we give up more than 24, we could give up more and still win, but I don't think we do.
Anthony, you can't ignore the fact that that teams are different. Like you're talking about the teams that we played. Yeah, we have. They haven't scored more than whatever, and we've done this and we've done
right. And they haven't been as good passing teams as Kansas City is. Yes,
I'm talking about Kansas City, bro.
Fair enough. We have not played a Patrick Mahomes-esque quarterback.
Our defense. Now, I believe in our defense. I'm not saying that they can't. I'm not saying that we can't win that game. I wholeheartedly believe that when I'm in Tampa in February, I wholeheartedly believe I'm going to be watching my Buffalo Bills. I do.
Yes.
And I'm not just saying that as a fan.
I know, man. You and I have been on that train since the preseason. So we told everybody how good this team was.
So I don't want people thinking me saying that our defense is going to have a tough time with Mahomes. I don't want you thinking that I'm saying it as in okay, I'm scared we're not going to win.
But this is what it comes down to. This is what I want to ask you then. If you're looking at it from the defensive side, can our defense make one more stop against Patrick Mahomes than the lowly Chiefs defense can against our offense? I think that question is yes all day. I don't care if it's 45-54. We're still going to score one more against that defense than that defense is against us. Now, I think what you're getting at is if they have a lead in the third or fourth quarter, the Chiefs, they're going to be able to more efficiently run the ball. But we can do that too. I don't understand why you think the Bills are at a disadvantage when it comes to the run game.
We are, but here's the last point. Well, because we haven't had a running back that's been able to successfully run the ball when they need them to, not when they let the Patriots game that you're talking about. The Patriots let us run.
When was there a situation?
Wait, let me finish. When we played the Patriots said, we're not going to let Josh throw. You can run all day. We're not going to let you throw. And then both running backs, they ran all day and still didn't have like the greatest game. They had good games. Mm-hmm. Now, today, we have this undrafted rookie that comes in, and my man Muhammad just says, I love that Antonio Williams.
I love him. Right? I was high on him in the preseason, actually. I wanted him to take Yeldon's spot as the third running back.
I did too, and I'm with you there. I wanted him to make the roster. But today, we saw a rookie. Now, I get it. It was our backups that were in the game. Miami's backups weren't in the game.
Yeah, they were starters. So
that was Miami's starting defense. We had our best rushing attack from a running back today than we've had all season. That's a problem for me.
How was today any better than other games? I mean,
how was today any better than?
He looked good. Don't get me wrong.
I can tell you how. Tell you how. He tied Devin Single's total touchdown mark for the entire year in one game.
That's situational.
He duplicated. No, it's not situational. No, if you have a running back that can successfully run the ball consistently, guess what? The coach will call plays to give them the ball. There's a reason why they give Josh the ball, because they know it works. If you had a running back, where
I don't care who gets it as long as you get 7.
No, but you should care. You don't want your quarterback taking hits on the goal line.
If Josh Allen was on the field with him, it might have been Josh Allen running it in.
You're missing
but it was
the point.
Not. It was.
You're missing the point. You just love Josh and you love the Bills so much that you don't want to admit.
If Barkley is out there, what's your best play call? Hand it off to the running back. If Allen is out there, what's your best play call? Let him roll out. See if
you're not going to
open. If not,
every single play won't be the best play call. So I'm not debating, Anthony. But even if I'm not talking every single play, and I'm not talking about your best play call. You keep changing the argument.
No, because I am not. Your argument started with what I got confused on is how today's running game effort was any better than last week or the week before,
and I just
or whatever.
You. He had 2 rushing touchdowns.
Because he had a touchdown, but that's situational.
No, he had 2 touchdowns. It's not situational. You got to listen. You can't wait. You can't yell. We have to talk. You can't yell at each other. So go ahead and say what you're going to say. I'm about to pull up the yards and I'm going to pull up the touchdowns and show you.
Again, I'm not saying you're definitely wrong, or I'd say it in those exact words. I'm not trying to beat around the bush. I was just trying to say, I don't know how you see today's performance by Williams as better than the past few weeks by the other two when Singletary and Musk, when they've been doing just fine. Same yards per carry, same type.
No. He has 12 attempts. He has 12 attempts for 63 yards and 2 touchdowns. Devin Singletary for the year has 2 touchdowns.
Yes, but again, that's all based. You can't base it off.
You can't say it's situational.
It's not like he made a 50-yard burner for a touchdown.
Anthony, you are not
in the game. What do you mean,
Anthony? You cannot be that guy, man. You can't be that guy. I love you, man, and I know that you're smart. No, I know that you love the Bills, and I know that you're smart. Though you know football. This take is a bad take. It's a bad take, Anthony.
What is?
The more you give Josh Allen the ball as a running back throughout the entire season and throughout his career, he's taking hits he doesn't need to take.
I'm not telling you
have a franchise. When you have
I'm not saying to do that at all.
When you have a franchise quarterback, you need a running game to complement him. We don't have a complement for Josh Allen. That's what I'm telling you. But you're saying, well, it doesn't matter as long as we get 1,000 yards for the season. We had a good game.
By compliment, you want some elite, like top 5 running back, top 10 running back, whatever.
So you keep saying extraness. You keep saying extraness.
No, I'm not saying how good does the guy have to be for you to say that's a good compliment for Josh Allen?
I'm saying we need a guy who can run the ball when the defense knows we're going to, and they're purposely trying to stop us. Right now, we don't have a running back that seems like he can run through teams when they know we're going to run. When we played against the Patriots told us to
let us to run. Yeah. Again,
no other team this whole season have we been able to successfully.
What about the last 2 games when Zach Moss was the one running the drives out to drive out the clock in the end of the game? He was gouging them for 4 to 6 yards per carry.
What was the score, sir?
We were up by a whole bunch. That's why you're running.
That's not playing keep away. No, see, you're changing the topic.
No, you just said when defense knows we're going to run.
I'm not talking about when we're up by 4 touchdowns, Anthony. I'm talking. No, you're being crazy. I'm not talking about when we're up by 4 touchdowns. I'm talking about when the game is close.
You're up by. If you're up by a touchdown,
it absolutely matters.
If it's the fourth quarter and there's 2 minutes left, and you can run the ball successfully, you win.
No,
that's it.
No, because in the fourth quarter, I don't care if Josh Allen decides to take a knee every time. It's the same thing in the fourth quarter when you're up by 4 touchdowns. I'm talking about the first quarter when you come out and you give your running back the ball. He has to get you first downs. We do not have a consistent running back that can take over a game. I don't need an elite running back. I need somebody that can take over the game when the defense stops Josh Allen or when he gets injured. No, he's not injured, but the type of way he plays, he's going to get injured. He takes hits. We don't have a running game to fix that. We don't. But you're sitting here saying, no, but Anthony, no, we do not have a running game, bro. Like I don't know how you're ignoring that.
So you're completely writing off Moss and Singletary and saying they are not considered a running game.
Did I say that I'm writing
having decent seasons? It's not like they're having horrid seasons that are completely unacceptable. They are having decent
so you're okay seasons. So you're okay with mediocrity is what you're saying.
That's all this team needs is what I'm saying.
So
we've never had a game where Josh Allen.
You're okay with being mediocre in the run game. That's what you're saying.
That's all it needs to be.
No.
We don't know if they
yes or no. Answer yes or no. Yes or no.
Well, nobody wants it to be mediocre. I'm not going to accept mediocrity at anything. The answer is no matter what it is. Am I going to accept a mediocre punter, kicker, defensive end? No, nothing is good. Mediocre is not good enough at anything.
Anthony, you're accepting it in the run game, but you're saying you wouldn't accept mediocrity. You're contradicting yourself. We do not have. Listen, Zach Moss last week, that was the best game that he had for his career. Right? Would you agree with that?
Probably, yeah.
It wasn't a good game. It wasn't a good game. You just I get it. You love him. I get it. You love the Bills.
Game? What? How is that not a good game?
It was listen, what you're looking at is like, okay, he was able to run at the end of the game.
Well, before you tell me what I'm looking at, I'll tell you what I'm looking at.
Go ahead.
Situational football is what matters. In the end, in the fourth quarter, when the team knows you're going to run and you hand it to Zach Moss and he can get 4 yards a carry, that's all he needs. Then guess what? That is a great run game. That's all you need, period.
So tell me about a different situation. Tell me about a different situation when the game is close.
You're
tell me when the game is close. No. See, no, what you're doing is, though, you're talking about, the Bills are winning, and when we're up, it's easy. You give him the ball, and if he can get the 4 yards and run the clock out. I'm not talking about that.
You're saying if we had a back.
Anthony, let me finish.
Okay.
If you're up, it's easy to run the ball in the fourth quarter if you're up. I'm not talking about that. I'm saying first quarter. Let me finish. I'm saying first quarter. I'm coming out first quarter. Me, my whole team, your team, lining up against each other, and he gonna run the ball.
So now
you try to purposely stop me from running the ball, and I'll run you over and say I could care less that you playing defense.
But you're talking about like 2 guys in the league. Who does it? Derrick Henry?
I'm not. No, I'm talking about a bunch of teams. I'm not talking about a player. I'm saying a team. I don't need one guy. If it was running back by committee and we were able to run the ball consistently, that's fine. I don't need it to be Josh Allen. He accounted for 1/3 of our rushing offense. That's not going to be good going for his entire career. Like, I get it. It's what we had. We've always had good run games. I get it. Now you're fine with it because it's Josh. And last 2 seasons, that's really, or the first season, that's all we had. That's all we had.
I think we can fundamentally disagree, and that's fine. I'm just trying to get at the finer points of what exactly it is that you think we need or want. You want a back who can take over a game, or is it you want somebody who can come out in the first quarter and get 5 yards a carry? I mean, I'm a little bit confused.
Very clear what I want. I want a running back or a running game that is able to still be efficient when they take away Josh Allen, or if Josh Allen becomes injured. That's what I'm saying. Josh Allen was injured earlier in the year. I don't know if you remember, but he jacked up his shoulder, and he had a stretch of games where he just wasn't that good. Actually, we lost to the Titans and we lost to the Chiefs. Right. Mm-hmm. Why did we lose to the Titans and Chiefs? Because we couldn't match their running game, because we didn't have any offense outside of Josh Allen. This is what I'm saying. When they take away Josh Allen or he's injured and he's not himself, we need to have something and somebody else to be able to step up. We do not have it. But you're yelling about situational football, and that's not the debate. I'm not talking about situational football. I'm talking about straight up football. You got to go in there and you need to run the ball.
So, in conclusion of what you're saying, we need a running back for future years. If not going into the playoffs, you're fine with that right now, because we can agree that this offense is working as efficiently as any in history at this point.
the passing game.
Certainly, the offense. We're scoring 50 points a game. Right, come on.
You're okay, but you can be great and you can be good and be happy about the things that you want to celebrate, but also still be honest about the things that you need to improve.
Let's put it this way. Nothing's going to change going into the playoffs right now. So
who knows that? After seeing Williams today, who knows? They might decide to play Williams.
I would love to have him in the playoffs.
That's a change, though. That's a change.
I would love to see that. I don't think that's going to happen. Do you? I mean, I'm just from McDermott and Bean's
but the two guys
tendency to stick with their guys. I don't think they're gonna.
I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't. But the two guys that we do have starting, they haven't been up to par
in the future. And we've talked about this a little bit on our show about drafting a running back, which I don't think is going to be a priority just based on the positions that the Bills are going to need to fill this offseason. But what you'd like to see is for us to take a more Kansas City approach and say, you know what we do best is offense. How can we make this offense better? Draft an elite running back. And I don't think there's any disagreement there that if we had some sort of top elite running back, that our offense would be even better.
Well, yeah, but I'm not even saying elite. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like because
first or second round, I guess.
Well, that would be elite. No, well, I hope a first round pick would be elite. Yes, I don't even do that though. What I'm saying is, so for instance, let me think of a guy around the league that's not like, you know what? Gordon last offseason. I didn't look at his stats. I'm gonna pull his stats up because I could be wrong by saying this.
He was coming off an injury last year, but
the year
before. Is that what you're saying?
But no, but I'm saying he was Melvin Gordon. He ended up. Let's see, because he's with Denver now. So let's look at his stats for the year. This season. Now I'm gonna show you the difference between what Denver has and what we now. Do you? Before I ask this question, do you think Denver's rushing attack is elite?
No.
Okay.
They're good, but they're not elite.
They're good. Not elite.
They also have the pair, so I think this is a good comparison, right? Because they
So they have
Lindsey and they've got Gordon. Yeah,
they got Philip Lindsay and Gordon. So, and matter of fact, let me pull up Philip Lindsay as well, so that way you can, because I really want to be fair with this. I'm not trying to be funny. So Philip Lindsay has 534 yards on the ground. Oh, that's his career. I'm sorry.
No.
What am I doing? No,
that's this year.
He has 502 yards on the ground. I'm looking at, I don't know what just happened to my computer. 502 yards on the ground. Now let's go to Gordon. He has 893 yards on the ground. So he has 900 yards on the ground, right? Between the two of them, they have 1,400 yards. We have that with Josh Allen and two running backs. You have to be.
We have like 1,600 or 1,700 yards.
I didn't include today. I didn't include today because I didn't include today. But the point that I'm making is your running backs should drive your running game. Your quarterback is a passer and can scramble when he needs to, or the design runs. I get it because he's a physical beast. I get it.
Sometimes, I mean, on like fourth and short, sure, but
but not all the time.
Agree with you there.
The rushing attack should be from our running backs consistently.
Yes,
we don't have a guy that's giving us 900 yards a year, and guess what? He doesn't have because he also doesn't have a ton of stats. Like he's not averaging 20 attempts a game. He's at like 16, 11, 13, 15, 12, 15, 11, 6, 8, 17. So he's not rushing the ball 25 times a game to be the number one guy. He has 900 yards though. That's what I'm saying. I don't need Singletary to be elite. Give me 900 yards for the season. I'm happy. Granted, everybody wants
that's pretty high when you're splitting touches.
It's 839. He had 893. That's 900 yards, right? He's splitting with Lindsey, right?
Well, not every game. How many touches does Lindsey have compared to him? Carries. That's the thing that needs to. They were both
injured. He has 118. Well, he has 118 for the season, and then Gordon has 189.
Okay, so that's still 70 more touches in a game. So he's got 3/4 of the.
But your running backs combined,
yes, they
have the yardage. What I'm saying is, so even if let's take 30
carries. We also know in some of those early games, the problem was also with the offensive line, right? We had Brian Winters out there who couldn't block crap. And that was an issue too. Now they don't have that excuse. Agreed there. They don't have that excuse anymore. That was acceptable for those early games when the offensive line was still getting its stuff together and was breaking up and couldn't figure out stuff. And there was no holes made for our running backs. Now those guys are pretty elite up front, and the backs don't have that excuse, and they've been performing better. It might not be good enough. It's not elite. It's not Melvin Gordon even. And so to your point, would a guy like that, if Melvin Gordon were on this offense, would we be a better team in your mind? Would that fill your role of that's the kind of guy I want, somebody we can at least threaten to hand it off on first down? Because I won't argue that Melvin Gordon is a better, threat in terms of hand the ball off to Singletary and Moss.
We thought Singletary was going to be like this. So going from the last playoff game last year, the reason why everybody was so excited about Singletary is because of that performance and the games leading up to the playoffs.
Yes.
If we were able to get the Singletary we saw in the playoffs, you and I hear this conversation from me. Before I finish it though, because I know we also want to move on to another conversation that we got started on. I'm gonna bring him up, man. Mookie, what's going on with you, man?
What's up,
Mookie? What's going on, man?
Big Ant, what's good with you?
Oh,
how was that stadium, bro?
Man, I tell you what, Miami got the hell up out of there quick. They was leaving when I was leaving. And,
they said we heading back.
Yeah, I said the only thing that the Miami Dolphins is beating today is traffic. You know what I mean? They was out of there real quick, But I mean, what can you say? I mean, what could you say? Spence, we talked about this a little bit last night. You know what I mean? You will see the Bills show you they have quality depth. You know what I mean? And hey, I told you what was going to happen. Josh was going to come out there and throw 20 times. He was what?
3 touchdowns on 20.
He gave John Brown he gave John Brown Diggs all they could handle. He gave him as much as they could take.
He had that one.
7 catches. That's crazy. He only had 21 completions. 7 of them were Diggs.
Right. It's just the mentality now. It's just the mentality, and teams and people need to get used to this mentality. Right now, I mean, we still are really in awe of what's just transpiring drastically. But today, if that didn't show the NFL world that the Bills are legitimate Super Bowl contenders and they're deep, all right, they're deep, very deep. So, damn, I mean, every week you're catching yourself saying like this was their best performance by far. You know what I mean? And for the past 7 weeks, we've been saying that. Like, damn, I'm about to say it again. Like this.
Well, I think
is the best by far that we see the Bills play.
I think the one thing that was clear going into this week is the Dolphins were giving it 300% because they needed this game for their playoff lives. They were fighting for everything. This is I made the argument on our show, our Friday podcast, that this is probably the first time all year that the Bills are facing a team that wants it more than we do, because we didn't really need this game. We knew there was a potential rest starters, and the Dolphins, their entire life depended on this game. And we still went out there and destroyed them. So, yeah, I mean, it was quite the statement today. It was a fun game to watch.
Imagine getting blown out in a game that you absolutely need to go to play.
Right?
Like, imagine getting blown out. Like, now, granted, they didn't have Ryan Fitzpatrick, who is normally their relief pitcher.
Fourth quarter, yeah.
Yeah, so they didn't have him. But the thing is, and I had this conversation on Twitter with somebody too. I don't think Fitz would have mattered even if he would have started. And it's not a diss. Mookie knows for sure. My love for Fitz. This is not a diss on Fitz at all. I just don't think that it would have mattered. Like, even with our backups, other than Barkley, I'm still not sold on as far as our backup quarterback situation. I know he had a couple long throws today.
That was nice. Yeah,
too. They look good. But at the same time, I mean, I'm just not. You could tell Miami was just like, they gave up at that point. They was like, their heart was broke. They knew that game was over, and they just kind of let Matt do his thing. But listen, I saw a lot of good stuff. Mook, I want your opinion on something, because I saw some other things that and Anthony and I really were just yelling about this. I had my whole vein out the side of my neck and on my forehead coming through the screen. So one of the major things that I feel like not major. I still feel like we need to improve on our rushing attack. Now, today it looked good because we had our undrafted rookie Williams in there. He had a great game. 2 touchdowns, 63 yards on, I believe, what did I say it was, Anthony? 11 carries or 12 carries or something like that?
12 carries, I think you said, yeah.
12 carries. So it was a good game for him, really good game. The issue that I'm having, and I have to pick something because obviously the Bills are playing at such a level right now, like we're blowing teams out. The Buffalo Bills passing offense is elite. It seems as if our rushing offense does not complement what our passing offense is. Going into next season, and I don't want to skip the playoffs because obviously I'm looking forward to seeing you down in Tampa. So I don't want to skip the playoffs, but going to the draft and going into next season, do you feel like running back should be one of the small areas of needs that this team has? Because I know we're going to look on the defensive line. I know we're going to probably look on the offensive line, tight end, linebacker maybe. But do you think that a running back is still something that should be considered a need?
I don't think so. Like if Najee Harris would have stayed in the draft, the Bills would have had a decision to make. Do they go after him or do they go after Zach Moss? Obviously, they was high on Zach Moss. So, Najee Harris went back in, and I just hope Miami don't end up getting him this year. But I think with what they did in the offseason before the draft told you that this thing was going to go through the air. Brandon Beane changed the dynamic of the team. McDermott, they come in, we're going to bend but not break defense and, at first they were saying Josh was a game manager. You know what I mean? When Josh was coming out, they was prepping him to be a game manager. It wasn't going to rely on Josh to win games. It went through the defense. This was a defense-driven style of team. We needed a game manager, but Brandon Beane saw things different in the progression of Josh Allen's development, especially with the attributes coming out of Wyoming, and where this team worked. I mean, when you brought in Stephon Diggs, that already told you right then and there the run game was going to be dismal at best because you got too much money invested in Cole Beasley, Smoke Brown, and now you're bringing in Stephon Diggs. So you got way too much money invested. Your run game, guess what? You have two rookies. They're going to be here for the next 2-3 years. They're going to understand their role. They're happy to be a part of this. It was like high expectations coming in because Motor did have 775 yards and averaged over 5 per carry. So it was something great to look forward to in our run game. But, bringing in Stephon Diggs, the run game suffered and the philosophy's changed. Right now, the philosophy is we got this high power offense. We stepping on the gas. We trying to put up 30 points in the first quarter and then control the rest of the game on the ground. Now, if that's 60 yards, 100 yards, whatever the case may be, we're going to get this lead, in our passing game to the point where now our defense can play with their ends peeled back and we can control it a little bit more better in our run game, no matter how many yards it takes to do it. Whether if it's 100 yards or 50 yards, we got enough points where our run game and our defense are maintained the rest of the way. So that's what I think you saw that today. Josh Allen went out there. It seemed like they was trying to play a little basic, like they didn't want to show too much, and try to think that was going to win the ball game until, Josh threw that interception and, it was 3-3 for the longest. And then Josh said, you know what, I had enough of this. And it was, once again, Dr. Josh, surgery with a chainsaw, picking the Dolphins' top defense apart with 225 yards, all in the first half, 3 touchdowns. Now, he went back out there to play darts, 144 to go because they was just hot. Why bring Barkley in when it's a minute left? Yeah. Let's go ahead and get this 2-minute drill action. Let's stay aggressive. Let's put it out of reach. Let's make sure we put this nail in the coffin for our defense and our run game to go ahead and entertain everybody the second half and see where we fall there. But it was, they just went down the field. They was playing zero coverage, and I'm sitting up there like, yo, he's about to just take his shot. I know he sees zero because I see it from where I'm at. And, there you go, John Brown, 1-on-1 for a touchdown. You know what I mean? So now with that being said, it's a possibility Kenny Stills could be hovering around here sometime next week. So, hey, good luck with that. Everybody keep talking about who do you want the Bills to play? It's the other way around. Who want to play the Bills?
Mm-hmm. I want whoever.
Nobody want to be that 7 seed. It ain't about who the Bills want to play.
Give me whoever want to bring it. Give me whoever want to bring it. Well, so before we move on, because I got to cut a few more questions I want to ask. But before I move on, though, because before you missed the whole argument too, so I appreciate your perspective there. The last point or the last question I'm going to ask about the running backs, like I said, not in the context of us being 13-3. I get that because we're winning, so I get that. The point that I made to Anthony is once you go into the playoffs, you're playing teams who are 12-4, 13-3, 14-2, whatever, right? So you're playing the good teams. You're playing these things. If anything were to happen where Josh may get an injury or where Josh just had an off day, it happens. I don't think it's going to happen no time soon. I feel like he's just in this. I feel like this is one of those years where he's just clicking and he's going to click. You know what I mean? So I don't think it's going to happen right now. But what I'm saying is throughout his career, there will be games that he'll have an off game. He won't be super Josh every single week. We have to be able to run the ball during those games. My issue or my concern is that I don't feel like we have the ability to do it when they know we're going to do it. Now, Josh, he can throw it when they know he's going to throw it, and it don't matter. Like, he's just doing what he wants. I don't think when we had Shady a couple years back, you know, we were running on people, and they knew we were running on people, and we still had the number one rush defense or rush offense in the league. I don't need that level of rush attack. But what I do need is if Josh can't perform up to the standards that we're used to or going to be used to now, how are we going to still run or win the game and control the clock? That was the point that I was making.
We got to stop talking about what if something bad.
No, we don't. No.
Yeah, we got to get out of the negative conception.
No. Wait. Because I'm not putting negative conceptions or whatever you're trying to say I'm putting on it. What I'm saying is I'm trying to be prepared. You can't say I'm being negative by saying, okay, we're great in this area, but we're lacking here. I want to be great in this area and either very good or great in this area too. So that way, when we face a team who's great all around, then we can go head to head. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that
what team is great all around other than the Bills right now.
That's not what I'm.
You're saying it. Answer
my question first, and I'll answer yours. Answer mine, and I'll answer yours.
I'm just saying it sounds like Luke's on my side. I don't know.
No. I'm not saying he's definitely not on your side. No. If I told Mook what you said, Mook would shut you down.
To your point, Spence, it's good to be prepared. You wanna always think ahead. You're just thinking ahead. And I get that. You know what I mean? I get that. And you know, our run game do need to get better. I said that, you know what I mean, in like week 7, week 8, you know what I mean? When it get cold, you're gonna have to run the ball, no matter what. That we all know that's the old school original recipe for the playoffs, you know, running the ball and playing good defense. Nowadays, it's a passing league and teams are throwing the rock. Now, the run game, you know, you don't have a Derrick Henry out there. You don't have a Dalvin Cook. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, I mean, them type of backs is, you know, ain't that many of them. You know what I mean? Where you cater your style to them now. You know, so it's more RPO and you need those style of quarterbacks to run that type of stuff. You know, so it's going to go through the air. Now, we had Devin Singletary. Yeah, I wanted to see Devin get over 1,000 yards. I wanted to see Zach Moss, you know, develop. But guess what? The Bills are in a good place with those two guys with more room to grow. Even Dawson Knox, you throw that in there. Look at wait till you see those 3 people next year on how they play and what they're going to bring to the team. They're going to get better, you know what I mean, within this offense. So to your point, yes. But it has to materialize. It needs to mature, and they have to develop a little bit more better. Right now, if it ain't broke, we ain't trying to fix it. This thing is going through the gunslinger, and they daring teams to beat them because right now, Josh got it figured out. He knows every coverage. He knows what beats every coverage.
That's why I said this year, I don't think that it's going to be one of those things where it's like Josh is off. I'm not. So that's why I wanted to preface it by saying, don't think that what I'm saying, because I don't want to sound like the negative Nancy type of guy. Like, yo, we going to lose if whatever. I don't think nobody can really shut Josh down this season. Now, there's film on him during the offseason. People can study him and maybe try to figure stuff out. I still don't think they're going to be able to. So I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is, you know, like you said, we just got to be prepared. I'm not saying that there's a team this year in the AFC that can do that. But I don't want to lose because Josh has a bad game.
I think
if Josh has a bad game, we should still be a good enough team overall to still push through certain games. And right now, I feel like if Josh doesn't, that's what I'm saying. I'm not.
I'll agree with you there that if Josh Allen doesn't have a good game, the onus then falls on the defense. I'd say the defense has to be shut down if Allen has a bad game. They're capable of doing that. I'm confident in that, at least depending on the opponent. Maybe not against Kansas City because, like I said, nobody's quick to shut them down. But
the only elephant in the room that we need to address is Kansas City. Like, I don't understand where like we feel frightened over any team that's in the playoffs.
Nobody's
they're all good.
But
they're
the other point,
good.
The other point that Muki brought up that I thought was a good one on the running back point was, do you expect that Singletary and Moss will improve going into next season, or do you want to draft the next guy? You're saying you want to draft the next guy. I'm saying
I didn't say that either. No, I didn't.
You do think that they're capable of taking that next step, and that maybe.
My overall take now in the conversation that we were having, I'm talking about this year, they haven't been playing up to par. Overall, I'm very high on Moss, and I feel like you remember that from the summer too.
Oh yeah, me too. Yeah,
I was pounding the table for Moss to kind of be the number one guy and give him enough carries to get into a rhythm. That was my I think that he can develop. I think you saw me tweet earlier, business decisions on one play. I think it was like 3rd and 6 or something like that, and he ran through people. He ran through like 4 guys after the first down. So no, I think they can develop. Same thing about Corey Bojorquez last season when everybody was down on him. It's like you got to let guys, even though it's a punter, it's a different position. You got to let guys develop. And I know for kickers and punters, Tyler Bass this year, when you have guys who have those type of positions and they don't perform well right away, it's normally like a way shorter of a leash because those positions seem like they only have. Tyler Bass has 3 field goals a game, not this year, but normally like 3 field goals a game on any other team. So if he misses 2 of them, it's a huge deal.
Right. Yeah.
right now, with Josh Allen, when he was a quarterback the first year, he's throwing the ball and he throws 2 interceptions and a fumble. It's like, oh yes, he's raw, he's rough. We got to let him develop. We don't have that same patience in other areas of the game. So I'm not. Please don't think I'm saying let's get rid of Singletary and Moss. I love both those guys. I think Motor and Moss are both phenomenal athletes, and I think they can grow to be great running backs. I was specifically talking this year. I do think we'll be better prepared going forward in the future. I really do. I love Sean McDermott, man. I trust him with everything with this team.
You got to look at it with everything with this pandemic and COVID. Like the best thing, the thing that they had from a continuity standpoint is the pass game, pass protections. That's down pat. In the run game, you're dealing with 2, very inexperienced running backs. You got continuity issues up front. It takes a while to get going in the run game when it comes to blocking and the running backs really trusting what they see and the blocks and all that stuff. So the Bills really ain't had time for that. They had time to focus on the pass game. You got all these weapons. You got a second year with Beasley and Smoke. Now we're bringing in Stephon Diggs. He's the only guy we had to get up to power in the passing game, and he's the star guy. So the focus was on making sure Josh, and it was all about Josh this year. This was they did a phenomenal job making sure that it was all about Josh. If he's our franchise guy going forward, we're going to make sure that we put all the possible right pieces in front of him and evaluate him this year. There's nothing left to evaluate at this point. Next year, coming off the, hopefully, knock on wood, they rack this thing off in the Super Bowl. Now you got a time and a place to concentrate on the run game a little bit more. So I'm telling you, the run game is going to be much better next year, just on the strength of they're going to already have everything in the passing game down.
I brought up the offensive line earlier, and I think to your point, Mook, is imagine Moss learning behind an offensive line where they know who the 5 guys are going to be. If that's hopefully that's the case through the summer this year and not up till the day you're going on the field, right?
So imagine that, man. Imagine.
I know. Just know,
because at the beginning of the season, it drove me crazy. At the beginning of the season, it absolutely drove me crazy with the offensive line. But to see them gel now towards the end of the season, going into the playoffs, and so now this is where I want to kind of transition the show to. So going into the playoffs, man, now we know it's going to be the Colts. So we're playing the Colts. Bring it on. Bring it on. I see some people earlier. I saw people talking about how they don't want to go up against Hines and Taylor. Because the running game and our rush defense and all that stuff. I'm not nervous about them. I'm not nervous about them at all. The only team, and I can't even say I'm nervous about them. The only team that I have apprehensions about are the Chiefs. And just because I know that Mahomes is literally the only quarterback in the league right now that can go just pass for pass, touchdown for touchdown with Josh. But other than that, I'm not scared of anybody. What is your we'll start with Anthony, then we'll go to Muki. But what are your first thoughts about the Bills going up against the Indianapolis Colts?
We had this conversation on our show probably 5 or 6 weeks ago when it looked, when we were it looked like this would be the matchup that was going into the playoffs. And I said that this was the best matchup for the Buffalo Bills primarily because of the quarterback. I mean, the run game, yes, they have a good run game. Yes, he's a threat, but it's not like, he's not Derrick Henry. He's not taken over the entire game. And even if he is, the Bills have shown that we can limit running backs to 1 or 2 really long runs or good runs or whatever per game. Sure, they'll give one up, maybe a touchdown, but for the most part, they shut them down, and you're going to have to pass at some point. And that being said, Phillip Rivers is the best matchup for this Buffalo defense. He's not mobile at all. Our defensive line can get to him and put the pressure on. That frees up people in our defensive backs to cover the receivers who are not that great. And I mean, they have some good guys over there, don't get me wrong, but nobody's a Stephon Diggs or some explosive receiver that you must double cover on every play. So, I mean, Phillip Rivers in the cold, outside, regardless of if it's snowing or not, I like those matchups. He's not mobile. You get to him, he's going down or he's throwing it away, period. He's not going to try and throw the ball and make a run.
Before you go, Anthony, please don't talk about rain and snow. I'm gonna be there, man. I'm gonna be there. Let's chill, because Muki can't let me sit in the box with him, so I gotta sit. No, you can't be talking.
30 degrees. How about that?
I can deal with the cold. I'm gonna be layered up really well, but you can't be talking that wetness, bro. You can't do it. What's up? What you feel, man?
Right now, it's like, every team is good. I mean, Cleveland's good, Indianapolis good, Baltimore is good, Tennessee's good, Kansas City's good, Pittsburgh is good. So it's like, pick your poison. I mean, and the Bills, to me, probably had a tougher schedule than any one of those playoff opponents. So, I mean, like I said, Indianapolis, they pose as threats because they do have a scoring offense. They're built to score points. You have T.Y. Hilton, who's a matchup nightmare, and they do have rookie Michael Pittman, who's been playing well as of late. You do have Nyheim Hines, who's a third down guy, who's going to kill you in the backfield, and a rookie Jonathan Taylor, who likes to bang in between the tackles. Okay, Frank Wright, we got a good offensive mind, good offensive coordinator. But once again, it boils down to Phillip Rivers. He is a statue in that pocket. He's not mobile. So that does pose a problem. And, in certain situations of Coach Frazier's scheme, if you look at how they was able to rattle Tua, who's very mobile, they didn't face a lot of mobile quarterbacks. So as long as they keep playing aggressive, I want to see a team like, you got to look at it today. The first half, look at the Bills the past 4 games on third down. Miami was 0 for 7 in the first half on third down. Mm-hmm. They finished 3 out of 14, 21% for the entire game.
Oh, the stat.
So that's
say the stat again. So say it one more time. Say it one more time. I'm in love. I'm over here gazing into the.
I didn't realize that until he just said it. That's nuts.
Yeah, just say
the first half, Tua was 0 for 7 on third down in the first half. Period. The Dolphins finished the game as a team 3 out of 14, 21% on third down. This is not letting you know that this is the Bills defense from last year. They're back. The past 4 or 5 games. Just look at that third down completion percentage. Look at the Pittsburgh game. And they got talented wide receivers.
That was Big Ben too. And I mean, they have a quarterback. Right. Like people want to use the fact that Tua is a rookie and developing, like, oh, well, he's not that good anyway. They did it against Big Ben. They did it again. Like, they're doing it consistently against whoever they play. It's not just Tua.
It's not, but it's letting you know that they're getting better. The things that we saw in the beginning of the season that we were so optimistic about how can they maintain it, how can they keep it up? Guess what? The Bills are 13-3. All right. And, if the Bills are doing that on third down, that means the run defense has got to be doing something to make sure that it's a passing down on third down. They is getting up out of the field. They's getting up off the field on third down right now. Now, if they defense can maintain that with this crazy, just thirsty offense that's waiting to get back out there again, it's scary good. It's Super Bowl scary. It don't matter what team that they play. Everybody want to see, Baltimore could be the scary team because everybody's scared of Lamar Jackson, but the Bills almost beat them last year, so they have a recipe for that. The Bills, yeah, they did get blown out by Tennessee. I mean, newsflash, the Bills didn't want to play that game. It was a COVID scare. Tre'Davious White has not been on the injury report since that game. Kansas City, they played the softest and most vanillas they can possibly play and still had an opportunity to win the game. It was a method to Coach McDermott's madness because for some strange reason, maybe he thinks that they're going to run into Kansas City again. And he's going to hit them with something they never saw before, or anybody that get in their way at this point, So it's real exciting to be, a Bills fan, because right now, the way they just destroyed Miami and everybody talked about how great this defense was and how they just destroyed that, proved to everybody that
that's the next point, or I guess I should say the last point, because the third game is about to come on, so we're gonna end up and so I we'll get a quick prediction from both of you for the game next. I don't know if it's gonna be Sunday or Saturday at this point. I guess I have to look that up, but so I'll get a quick prediction. But one of the things I want to say before that is going into it. This is the thing, man. Like you said, today we played against what was supposed to be the best defense in the league, or the second best defense in the league, depending on who you talk to, right? So the best defense in the league, and Josh Allen did this. He tore them up. We played against San Fran. What did he do out there? And I know they didn't have the season they had last year. I get it. But defense was still legit. What they do to them? Who else had a great defense that we played? It just doesn't matter. He's just dogging.
Rams. Jalen Ramsey, all these guys. I mean, the list can go on. That's why I call him Doctor now. That's why I call him Dr. Joe.
Yeah, he's just being surgical with that. I was going to say it like Denzel and Trinity. I'm surgical with this bitch. That's Josh, man. Like he's just out here.
Like Keith Murray, surgery with a chainsaw. That's what he's doing out here. Yeah. Carving them up.
So, but like I said, so we'll end up with this, man. So next weekend we face the Indianapolis Colts. I can't talk right now. What the heck? We face the Indianapolis Colts. I'm hoping that I don't care what day. I'm hoping Saturday though, actually, because I'll be in Buffalo for it. So I'm hoping that my Saturday can be partied up. You know what I mean? And I can live it up. But either way, we're gonna win. So what is your prediction? We'll start with Anthony and with Mook again. So Anthony, what's your prediction and what's your bold prediction for it?
I'm going to go 31-13. And I honestly think this is the first step. I think this is going to be the easiest one of the ones coming up, at least for the Bills, continuing to do what we do. Get out to a lead, score points, use the run game, and dominate on defense. I think Phillip Rivers is going to get beat up in this game. I think he's going to get sacked probably at least 4 times and throw a couple picks, because exactly what Mookie said, on third down, when it's 3rd and 8, you can't give the ball to Jonathan Taylor every time on 3rd and 8, and they're going to have to pass the ball, and that's going to benefit this Bills team a lot. By the way, also before we leave, first of all, thank you for having me on. As always, I love talking with you, love talking football, whether we're always on the same page, but sometimes a little bit different. Even today, talking about the running backs. But it's always fun talking to you. And shout out to all those talking heads on ESPN and all those other places who said 6 weeks ago that the Dolphins were going to win this division and that the Dolphins were going to dominate this division. What the hell were you looking at? Because most of us talking heads for the Bills said, you're absolutely nuts if you think that's happened. They never even tied us. They never came close to us. And the whole rest of the season, because we had a bye week and the Dolphins won, suddenly they were going to win the division. No, nice try, guys. So I had to add that little one in there. We don't have to throw shade all the time, but when those people were on their high and mighty about how the Dolphins were going to win, this was really the first playoff week for us. We eliminated them. Go home.
Yeah, no, for sure. Get out of here. So before I do move on to Mook, though, tell everybody where you're at and where they can find you in your content.
Always. Yeah, on the Cover-1 network. I'm part of the Hoof podcast team, me, Sterling, and Eric. You can catch us live Tuesday nights on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere, going live. And then our podcast drops on Fridays on the Cover-1 network. And you can always follow me on Twitter, Anthony Romeo NY, as it says there. Always interacting with people. Love talking to the fans. Love chatting it up. Hit me up for sure.
All right, Mook Dog, what's up, man?
Hey, Ant, man, when the hate don't work, they start telling lies, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I got beef right now. I did a montage of That's My Quarterback with Kirk Cousins and me and Steph had a little fun with that, but they end up rolling out to the left too. So I think that was planned. But I'm doing another montage with Mr. Colin Cowherd. You know what I mean? I respect Ryan Clark. You know, he had Tua as the #1 quarterback in the AFC in the preseason. Sam Darnold, then it was Josh Allen.
That's right.
Right? He didn't want to give it up, but he gave it up on national TV when he said, hey, I was the biggest hater, but the Bills are the best thing smoking right now. So, apology accepted. Colin Cowherd, though, I have an issue with. Colin Cowherd went on in August to say Josh Allen wasn't a top 200 player. He said that. So how he's sitting up now with his stogie talking about, I told you, Steelers, you're going down. The Bills is the best. Hey, Nick Wright, let's have a catch-up mustard fight. You know, now, come on, man. Now, miss me with all of that. You got some apologizing to do before you ride waves, man. Ain't no Deion Dawkins said it after the Houston playoff game. Ain't no more room on the bandwagon.
Yeah,
you know
get out.
Ain't no more room.
The one that got me.
Yeah.
The ESPN, there's one more just to add to what you're saying here. Max Kellerman, week 3, I wrote it down in my phone because I wanted to quote it. Josh Allen will never be as good as a healthy Cam Newton this year.
Wow.
He said that before the Rams game, and I'm like, are you nuts? A healthy Cam Newton, we don't even know what to expect from him yet this year. And you're saying Josh Allen will never be as good as a healthy Cam Newton. And now he wants to jump on and say, oh, yeah, I'm picking the Bills. Oh, yeah, the Bills are good. I'm like, where were you in week 3 when you were talking all that trash?
Yeah, we ain't no more room on the bandwagon. I can't let Colin live with that. I can't let him live with that. So I'm putting another montage together because he laughed it off when he was 87th. He laughed it off. Josh Allen will be top 10 on the top 100 this year. You know what I mean? But you went on and said, come on now. Josh Allen.
You're going to be top 5.
Say David. He's not even top 100. Josh Allen's not even a top 200 player. Now you riding the wave. You man, you got Josh all in your mouth. You know what I mean? Come on, man.
Talk that talk.
I can't respect that.
I can't respect that.
I can't respect that. So I'm gonna put another montage up with Mr. Colin Cowherd. Sign an apology form. We respect that. But sign an apology form. Guys like Pete Prisco, Adam Shine, guys, a few other people that's been riding the Bills since day one. Had them top 5, had them in breakout, all that stuff. We got the facts to pull that up, but I'm shooting back. It's time for us. Ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. So guess what? I'm shooting back too. You know what I mean? In my line of business. But with that being said, I think the fans is going to be electric. You know what I mean? 6,000 going to sound like 60,000 to the team. First quarter is going to act like Indy is doing something, but the Bills are one thing I'm noticing about them, and Coach Dable, he's starting to make really good adjustments in game. You know what I mean? Before it was like, okay, what we going to get this week? But he's doing it in game. He's like, yo, yeah, like how you see it from your couch. You like, yo, he right there. Just like, yeah, he wide open. If he do this, he does it. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, so you see the evolution of Brian Dable as well in game. You know what I mean? So they figure teams out because they didn't seen every coverage now. They didn't see every coverage. Like that Tennessee game, yeah, you saw the worst Josh you could see because he had 8 in coverage. And now they see that a lot, then they know how to beat that now. So you can't play them like that no more. You want to play them honest like the Miami Dolphins, you see what you're going to get with that. So let's pick your poison right now. Now, don't forget that Josh can run the football. So that's where your run game can come from too. But we don't want him running. And he's not really trying to run, as you can see. But he can. You know what I mean? So that's the extra element you got, with that guy. But I think they're going to come out and, beat Indy 29-17. I say 29-17. I mean, because, you got to respect Coach do have a nice defense, but everybody got a nice defense. You know what I mean? So I want to see if they want to play man, who's checking Diggs? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, we can play football chess. I mean, we got Matt Milano for Hines.
Yeah, bro, to your point, you just said if you play man, who gonna guard Diggs? If you play zone, Josh is gonna eat you up. Like he's gonna find anybody. Yeah. So it's like, and to be honest, and I know this hasn't been something that's been said publicly, and I don't have any inside information, so don't think that's what I'm saying. I don't think that we're gonna be without Beasley. I think we're going to be with our full offense. I think it was smart of them to not play. I feel like if it was really an important game, like if it came down to like if we was to make the playoffs or something, and he had to play, he could have played. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't see it. Go ahead. Because you may be in the locker room.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to, raise my hand.
No, that's what I said. Tell me. I don't have inside information on it.
Next week. Okay, let's just say Beasley don't play this game, but he played the next game, right? We know. Imagine this. Cole Beasley, Stephon Diggs, Smoke Brown, Dawson Knox, Kenny Stills.
Yep. Let's do that. It's over.
Gonna be bad. Or just say okay, Beasley don't play. Kenny Stills,
Kenny Stills,
Gabe Davis, Stephon Diggs.
So who the coach gonna stop? Who the coach gonna stop?
Exactly. Who anybody's gonna stop? Who Kansas City?
And let's not forget
Tennessee. All these playoff teams that the Bills, half of them they done played already.
You already beat them.
They don't want to see the Bills. It's the other way around. You know what I mean? They don't care. The Bills don't care. They treat every team the same. Another opponent that they need to cover. That's it.
The Colts are lining up nicely with the other teams that were some unbelievable defense until they played the Buffalo Bills. All the way straight through, like you said. The Broncos, the Steelers, all these teams that we just took out who were supposed to be these good defenses. And let's not forget, this Colts defense got beat in the second half badly by the team that we destroyed, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the same team that we just saw. So if they could do it, imagine what that Bills offense could have done against them. So it's not a good matchup if you're the Colts. They don't want to come play us, that's for sure. So hopefully it ends well for us.
Well, I'm gonna go with the Bills, obviously winning. I'm gonna say 35-21. I think Phillip Rivers is done for the most part, but I do think he's still smart enough and he has the experience that he's been in the league that he'll be able to. They'll get some points up. They're not gonna come out and lay an egg or anything like that. But I just think right now, like I mentioned earlier, Josh is just in his zone, and I just think he's gonna be insane. So it's gonna be fun to watch. I can't wait to be there and feel the energy. I know it's only gonna be 6,000 of us there, or a little over 6,000. But you're
111th. You got to do your 1,6,700. So
you tell me, I'm gonna go live while I'm there. I'm gonna make sure everybody can be a part of it. Like Joe and I have really good seats. We're on like the 45-yard line, 20 rows up behind the Bills bench. So we're gonna make sure that you get to talk to the Bills. They might not hear you on the phone, but I'm gonna make sure that I go live to where y'all can hear it and kind of feel like you're there for a little part of it. But hey, I want to thank Anthony. I want to thank Mook, real quick before I let you go, man. Tell everybody where they can find you and what you got going on with your content and just whatever you want to plug real quick.
I'm all over the place. You know what I mean? First and foremost, you can always catch me, post game right here, chopping it up with my boy Jay Spence, you know what I mean? Every Sunday, you know what I mean? Between 7 and 8 o'clock, whenever my butt be strolling in late, because I do have my radio show right before that, you know what I mean? The WUFO Sports Report on Power 96.5 FM. That's from 6 to 7. But on the week to week, man, just check me on Twitter mostly, you know what I mean? WUFO Sports, that's WUFO Sports, 1080 on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. Be in clips of all the craziness I'll be doing with the players and coaches. So I'm putting that montage up, between tonight or tomorrow.
Let's go.
Mr.
Can't wait.
Real quick, because I'm gonna plug my stuff real quick now before I go to. You mentioned Ryan Clark. I just read a post of his. He said Josh Allen's arm arrogance is at an all-time high this day. He said his arm enters the stadium with a special outfit on, while most of Josh is dressed to beat the Buffalo Chill. His right arm is styled by the same person that started styling Russ after he married Sierra. So the national media is coming around to the point where they're recognizing that Josh is who we've been saying he was going to be. I just think the thing is a lot of times with national media, it's going to change now because we're good. But a lot of times with national media, they are stats watchers. They're not game watchers because the Bills weren't good. So I get it. But now that they're watching, they're seeing it. They're seeing it. But y'all can catch me on the Code of Conduct every Tuesday on the Buffalo Rumblings Network. Every Sunday, like my man Mook said, here on the Chop Up, he comes through and he chops it up with me. He normally has either like a beat reporter from the other team, or we might have a guest like Anthony or Sterling or Joe or whoever joining us. So continue to check us out. I'm gonna put something together for this week. Probably, hopefully for Friday or maybe Saturday prior, or depending on when the game is. I'm going to put something together live because I'll be in Buffalo. So we're going to do something big for this. We're going to make sure it's on the up and up. So, hey, I love y'all. Y'all stay peaceful. Take care of each other. Stay positive and test negative. Love y'all. Go Bills.
Go Bills.